Loneliness. It's a feeling every single one of us has had, but it's also something we get wrong a lot. See, it's not really about being alone. You can feel it in the middle of a packed stadium. So, let's dive into what's really going on inside our brains when we feel that disconnect, and maybe more importantly, what the science actually says we can do about it. So let's just start with the big question, right? Why do I feel lonely? Well, the latest science is pretty clear. It has almost nothing to do with your follower count or how many people you see during the day. Now, it all comes down to the quality of your connections. It's about feeling truly seen and understood. And this is not just a feeling, not by a long shot. In 2023, the US Surgeon General declared loneliness a public health crisis. Why? Because the health risks that come with chronic loneliness are about the same as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, just let that sink in. That number is staggering, and it proves this is a real biological issue, not some kind of personal failing. Okay, so here's our game plan. We're going to break this all down. We'll start with why it's a modern crisis. Then we'll look at what's literally happening to your brain on loneliness. We'll unpack this vicious cycle that keeps people stuck. And then, the best part, we'll get into real evidence-based ways to build connection. And we'll end by hopefully reframing this whole experience for you. All right, first up, let's really understand loneliness, not just as, a sad mood, but as this huge health issue affecting millions. This isn't just in your head, it's a collective experience with very real consequences we can actually measure. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. We're talking about what happens on a neurological level. See, this isn't about your personality or being awkward. It's about a fundamental shift in how your brain sees the world when it's being starved of connection. A pioneering neuroscientist named John Cacioppo discovered that a lonely brain basically goes on the defensive. It enters this state he called hypervigilance. What does that mean? It means your brain starts to treat the social world like a minefield. It's constantly scanning for threats, for slights, for any hint of rejection. It's a survival instinct, just stuck in overdrive. And this hypervigilant state has huge physical effects. This isn't abstract stuff. We're talking measurable increases in inflammation all over your body. Your sleep gets all messed up. You have chronically high levels of the stress hormone cortisol. It even weakens your immune system and can speed up cognitive decline. This is your body living on high alert, 24/7. It's also really important to know that there are actually two types of loneliness. Social loneliness is that feeling of not having a bigger friend group, a community. But emotional loneliness, that's the absence of a close, intimate confidant, someone you can really, truly open up to. And that one is often way more painful and honestly more damaging. You can have 100 friends and still feel deeply emotionally lonely. Okay, so this brings us to the really cruel twist of loneliness. The very feeling of being isolated triggers a brain state that makes it even harder to connect. It pushes us away right when we need to pull people closer. It's a trap. And this shows the cycle perfectly. So it starts when you feel lonely. Then your brain flips that switch into hypervigilant threat scanning mode. And because you're looking for danger, you're way more likely to misread a totally neutral social cue, like, say, a friend takes a few hours to text back. You see that as rejection. And what's the result? You pull back. You withdraw to protect yourself, which, of course, just makes you feel even more lonely. It's a brutal feedback loop. But here is the good news, the really good news. You are not stuck in that cycle. This is a solvable problem. So let's talk about solutions. Let's get into some practical, science-backed strategies to break that cycle and deliberately build the connections that we all need to thrive. Think of this as your toolkit, a whole set of antidotes to isolation. And these aren't just fuzzy ideas. Every single one of these is backed by solid research. We're going to cover everything from going deeper with the friends you have to finding new communities and just being more honest about what's going on. First up, quality over quantity. It's so important. There's this psychologist, Robin Dunbar, and his research suggests that our brains can only really handle about 5 truly intimate relationships at one time. So the goal isn't to collect more friends, it's to have more meaningful friendships. And this chart just says it all, doesn't it? 5 deep, real, vulnerable friendships are so much more nourishing for our well-being than 50 shallow connections. It's all about where you choose to invest your limited social energy. Okay, this one is huge. It turns out we are terrible, absolutely terrible at guessing how much other people want to hear from us. A 2022 study found that we consistently and dramatically underestimate how much a friend appreciates it when we just reach out.
So that text you're hesitating to send? Just send it. They will almost certainly be happier to hear from you than you think. This strategy is brilliant because it's kind of like a cheat code for making friends. When you join something that meets regularly, a book club, a choir, a weekly pickup game, you're using something called the mere exposure effect. Basically, just seeing the same people over and over again naturally builds a sense of familiarity and liking. It takes all the pressure off and lets connection just happen.
Volunteering is an absolute powerhouse for connection. A giant meta-analysis in 2020 confirmed it consistently reduces loneliness. And why? Because it hits this perfect trifecta. It gives you a sense of purpose, it gives you regular social contact, and it unites you with other people around a shared mission. It's a win-win-win.
You really can't talk about true connection without talking about vulnerability. The researcher Brené Brown has shown over and over that real belonging is just impossible without it. Superficial small talk just keeps people at arm's length. Sharing something real about what you're going through, your hopes, your struggles, that's an invitation for others to do the same. And that is where real connection is built.
And finally, we just have to be honest about our screens. Passively scrolling through someone else's perfectly curated highlight reel on social media? That's a substitute for connection, not a source of it. In fact, studies show it actually makes us feel more lonely. The trick is to shift from that passive scrolling to active communication with real people you actually know. Okay, so let's bring this all together with one last really crucial idea. The whole point of understanding the biology here is to strip away the shame that so often comes with feeling lonely.
This quote from Mother Teresa it really captures the profound human cost, doesn't it? This isn't some trivial little emotion. It's a fundamental poverty of the spirit when that deep human need for connection isn't being met.
And if you take away one single thing from our time together, please let it be this. Loneliness is not a character flaw. It is a biological signal, just like hunger or thirst. It's your body's alarm system going off, telling you that a core survival need, social connection, isn't being met. It's just a signal to take action.
And that action isn't passive. The path out of loneliness isn't about sitting around and waiting for the perfect friends to magically appear. It's about deliberately, proactively investing your time and your energy in building and deepening the connections that are right there in front of you.
So, I'm going to leave you with this final thoughts, a direct call to action based on everything we just talked about. This isn't a test. It's just a simple, powerful first step. Who will you reach out to today?